Yeah, I'd give it another run.
Today on the Songwriting Studio, we interview Toronto-based singer-songwriter Jeremy Voltz.
I went down to the river. Sat down on the bank.
Jeremy sat down to share more with us about his songwriting journey, highlights from his musical career, and of course, a behind-the-scenes look at his contest-winning entry, One Day at a Time.
There are days when living seems harder than it should, when it's hard to see the good in what has happened.
I think you're really going to enjoy this interview, learn a lot from Jeremy's songwriting history, and be encouraged by where he wrote and recorded his contest-winning song. So let's dive in.
Don't let the darkness take you and cast you down and break you. You're stronger than you think you are.
Jeremy, welcome to the Songwriting Studio. So good to have you, man.
Thanks so much, Dean. Yeah, it's great to be here.
And obviously, you were the winner of the summer songwriting competition, and there are so many things that I liked about your entry, and looking you up a little bit more, there's a lot of things that I like just about the way that you write music and even your music videos. And so we're going to get to talk a little bit about that here today, but let's just start by kind of having you introduce yourself and sharing a little bit of your musical journey.
Cool. Yeah. My name's Jeremy Voltz. So my journey has been, off and on a lot throughout life. Like I started in high school as a drummer, actually. My
Nice.
first instrument is drums.
That's
And
awesome.
I feel like that influences a lot of my songwriting and kind of style. I'm like really, really into the rhythmic side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just played whenever I could as a kid. Like I was in an Irish punk band as a drummer.
Nice.
We had like bagpipes. It was awesome.
Did they know you could sing at the time?
Yeah. I had started singing by then, but I didn't. Singing was like I liked doing it a lot, and it wasn't until like senior year of high school I took choir, and we had this great choir director. She was the only PhD in our entire high school,
Nice.
and man, it was so great, and I realized then that was a passion. So it was
awesome.
pretty late, I feel like.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then once I started singing, I was like, well, it's hard to play drums and sing, so like I should learn guitar.
Nice.
And then I went from there. And so that was in the States where I grew up, in like around Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
I moved up to Toronto for grad school at U of T, and I really loved the city. But like right when I got here, I joined a choir, this a cappella jazz choir, because I was like, you know
Nice.
what, it'll be a good way to meet people in a city I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was a crazy journey that has like brought me into the a cappella world, and has taught me so much about singing and the voice and music creation, blend, harmony, all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool, and that's influenced my songwriting a lot as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like that because I feel like I can hear that in some of the songs that I've heard from you, is just that influence of obviously the rhythmic side of it, but even thinking as a vocalist, thinking melodically in some of the different tones and harmonies and blends and extra voices you have in the background. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So it's really cool. I really like how you bring those skills and that kind of history with your music into now, like the way you write and produce songs. It's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's great.
So how long would you say that you've been making music up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, not seriously, I would say since high school. So we don't need to say when that was.
Yeah.
But seriously, I would say the last 3 years. As soon as I finished school, I was like, cool. I'm gonna just forget about school for a bit. Forget about
Yeah.
focus on music. It's been a passion, and I've wanted to dive into it. So I've been a vocalist. I've considered myself a vocalist my whole life. Like,
Sure.
and I've sang in a lot of groups, a lot of bands, things like that. But the songwriting part, I always really struggled with.
Sure.
And I just hated everything I did when I was in high school.
Yeah,
Like listening
yeah.
back, so cringy. And
Yeah, I got those too.
oh God. And I think the best tip you can have is to write as many songs as possible.
Absolutely.
Like you just have to write 50 bad songs before you can start writing some that maybe are okay. So I did this thing. It's a subreddit called Song a Week, where they give you kind of a theme, and then you have a week to write and record a song. I don't do it anymore, really, but like, 3 years ago, I was really active on that, and just getting through those bad songs and just learning. Like, it's just time spent, and you just have to do it.
Absolutely. And I love hearing that, because that's something that I try and trumpet here on the Songwriting Studio is, your first song might sound horrible, but that doesn't mean you're a bad songwriter. It's just like, the first time you hit a golf ball, you might shank it, but it doesn't mean you're not going to be a good golfer, even though I don't play golf, and that's probably a terrible analogy. The point is, it's really just a muscle that you have to work over and over. And at least for me, I know in the beginning, I would have good like ideas or maybe a good verse or chorus, and then the rest was kind of a little off. But you just kind of refine it over time. And not that I've arrived or you've arrived, but I think, doing it time and time again, and I would say up to this point, it's hundreds of songs, or if not thousands of song ideas, and you're probably up to something similar.
Yeah.
But it's like the ones that are getting produced now of yours are probably like number 500 that you've written versus, the second song that you did. So it's just, I don't know. It's good point to make.
And I like what you said about like, you'll have like a good idea, but then the rest of the song is bad. Like, that's the thing, right? Is you'll get this line or something in the shower and you're like, that's so good. And then you're like, oh God. And then you try to make the rest of it live up to it. And it's really hard. And something that's helped me recently is trying to start the song with an overview of what the song is going to be.
Sure.
I think when I was first starting, and I still do this sometimes, but like, you start with this like line, and then it's like, okay, cool. Now how do I like expand out? And instead it's like, what do I want? If you start from a top down approach, what do I want this song to say? What are the spaces I want it to move through? What is the feeling I want it to evoke at the beginning, at the end, like stuff like that? Then it's so much easier to put pieces in place and have something that feels cohesive.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hearing a songwriting course coming on out of Jeremy Voltz, maybe. All right. So let's talk about any career highlights that you've had, like just any big moments, whether it was, a small conversation in a room or on a stage. What are some of the things that stand out to you as just really exciting that you've got to do with your music?
Cool. The big thing for me, like I've been a part of this a cappella group, Countermeasure Music in Toronto, and the things that we have done it's just incredible. Like, we've been together 8 years, and we've gotten to travel all over the world and perform with all sorts of amazing people and things. It's kind of like asking what's your favorite song, and then you kind of say the thing that you just heard and were excited about. So for us, like, we just got back from 2 tours this year, one to Japan, which we've wanted to do for so many years. Like, we love Japan, and getting to go and being treated so well by our presenters and by the audiences, like, that was a magical, life-changing experience. That it's one of those things that it's like, I can't believe I get to do this as a musician. Like, it was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really great, and just so inspiring. And part of the song that I submitted, the second verse was written in Japan.
Okay, wow, nice.
Yeah. And then we also we got to be a part of this Serenade Vocal Festival in Washington, D.C. Last month, and there are groups. It was in celebration of Nelson Mandela's 100th anniversary of his birth. There were groups from all over the world. Like, there was this Madagascar trio. There were these Aboriginal Australian choir that came. It was such an incredible experience, and we got to perform on the Kennedy Center stage, and that was to like a packed house, and that was wonderful. It was so inspiring, just being around so many different cultures and getting to hear such amazing music. Like, it was great.
That's really cool. So I definitely want to ask you about the song "Life Is Fine."
Came up once and hollered, came up twice and cried. If that water hadn't been so cold, might have surely nearly died. But it was cold.
Where did that song come from? Like, when did you write it? And
Sure thing.
like, what was the?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, it was so. That's part of Countermeasure,
Yes.
the acapella group. So everything you hear in that video is completely acapella. The drums are
wow.
human beatboxing
I did
by
not
our
even know
incredible.
that. That is so cool.
Yeah, yeah, man, we did so much cool stuff on that record. Like there's kind of a pipe organ sound, which was we took voices and really processed and
Sure,
figured out
sure.
what makes a pipe organ sound like a pipe organ, and
Yeah.
how can we make a voice sound like that. Yeah, the drums, we borrowed the drum loop from a D'Angelo song, Questlove playing drums, which was really great. But yeah, that song was written. The lyrics are a poem by Langston Hughes,
Okay.
who's a Harlem Renaissance poet, and the music was all written by Aaron Jensen, our composer at Countermeasure Music, and he had me in mind when he wrote it for the soloist.
Sure.
So it felt kind of tailored to me, and it was really the
Yeah,
style of music
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to sing and perform, and it's a great piece. And the video was amazing to make. We got a great grant for it from the Canadian government, which, you know, they have a lot of grants that support artists,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really great.
Yeah, and I'm told that in Canada, because I had a guy come and record here a few months back from Canada, and he said that they'll have like studios in their public libraries just for public use. Is that a true statement?
Yeah, it is. They started
Gosh.
doing the Toronto public library system is great. I mean, Canadian libraries as in general, but like they have so many cool things. They've got like 3D printers that you can use.
Really?
They've got, yeah, and like vocal studios, really nice computers with all sorts of video editing and music editing software.
is
It's really
crazy.
great.
I love that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good to feel like the arts is supported,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's great. So we did a pitch for some directors, and we really liked this treatment we got from kind of a mutual friend of ours, Mike Cameron, as the director, and he got to use this robotic crane for the filming
Nice.
of that. So it was the exact same rig that they used in X-Men: Days of Future Past. Same
Nice,
camera, same
nice.
operator. Yeah, and so we had to go in for a day and program the crane.
Okay.
So it's like we would move from scene to scene, and then it's like, okay, where do we want the shot to be? Cool, that's where it's going to be, and it's going to move in an arc, you know, around and land there. So
Nice.
make sure you stay out of the kill zone, which was we were told a lot that day of like, cool, this camera swings and
Yeah,
it will
yeah.
kill you, so don't stand
Yeah.
there. So there was a day of just no shooting and just programming. And then we went in the next day and filmed everything, and the camera just moves through its
That's
beats.
crazy.
But we filmed it twice as fast. So
Yeah.
we doubled the song.
Yeah.
And then I had to lip sync to the song twice as
Yeah,
fast,
yeah.
which was so trippy and hard.
Yeah.
And so many members of the crew were like, "Oh man, after hearing it that many times, like sped up twice, it's like crazy to hear the song
Right,
slowed
right.
down. It's like it sounds so slow."
That's awesome.
Yeah, but like the lyrics of the song obviously deal with mental health, and we tried to mimic that in the video.
Yeah.
Kind of this idea of the seasons are changing. Everybody in the video is going through different phases. They're wearing shorts. It's different. The seasons are changing, and I'm always wearing this suit, kind of illustrating that depression and mental health problems aren't something you can take off. They're
Sure.
always with you, no matter what's going on in the world. And I feel like the video is really powerful. Really
Yeah.
proud of it.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. When I watched it, I was like, dude, this is fantastic. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's transition and let's start talking about this song that you entered into the Summer Songwriting Contest. So
Yeah.
just tell me a little bit about that song, more of, the meaning. Like, why did you write this song? Where did it come from? Just tell me a little bit about it.
Sure thing. Yeah, like you said in the video, it is written to a person, to a friend of mine, and I think that's really helpful when you're writing a song.
Yeah.
If you think, who's somebody important in my life that I want to say something to, and what do I want to say to them?
Yeah.
But maybe I'm scared to, or it's
Sure.
hard, it's awkward, and write that song. I think that's a great way to write a song. I think because we all care about relationships. Like when we watch movies, we watch TV, we read books. It's the relationships that are the things
Sure.
that we love.
Sure.
the set dressing, the effects, the processing on a track, all that. That's great. It's eye candy, but really the relationship has to be there.
Sure.
So if you feel that coming through a song, right, it really connects you to it.
Yeah.
So I wrote the first verse of this song really easily. It was one of those like 10 minutes. I just said, I just want to write. I'm just going to go to my computer and just type. I'm not going to worry about rhyming or anything like that.
Sure.
And I just like kind of wrote paragraph style. And then the lyrics kind of just fell into place, taking like, oh, what lines do I like that I wrote here? And that, it was like 10 or 15 minutes, grabbed an acoustic guitar, didn't overthink it too much, just played the chords that it sounded like it wanted to be. And then I kind of sat on it for like a month. I just had this first verse, and that was it. And then a month later, I'm sitting on this bus in Japan. We're riding between two cities, looking at the beautiful mountains, and I'm like, "This is, you know what? Now's a good time to revisit that." And what was amazing was I was with my friend who started writing this song about, and so I think that really helped shape the second verse, was being able to kind of sit and talk with her and be writing this song, and maybe even like run a line by her and stuff. And I've since kind of said, by the way, the song's about you.
Yeah. Nice.
But like,
are you okay with that?
I think, are you okay with me saying that on this interview? And she was cool with it.
That's great.
But like, that the fact that I had that connection in the moment while I was writing it just really like crystallized exactly what I wanted to say. And I'm really proud of some of the lines in those songs. And so that was really helpful.
It's awesome. And it comes through, and it's almost like in a movie when it's like based on a true story. I don't know, it tends to have a deeper impact when it's a real story. We're not just making it up to paint an artistic picture. It's a real person, and you're writing to that person. So I love it, and I think it really comes through in the song, and I think that's what gives it the potential to have impact on someone, rather than just go, okay, I like the tune, this is fun. But to me, music is, yes, it is about sounding good, but it is also about the message it carries and the impact it can potentially have on someone. So love the song. So
thanks so much.
Let's talk on the other side of things, on that musical side of things, on the production end. I want to first ask, where are you recording this, and what equipment, what gear are you using to recording that song that we heard?
You are looking at it. This is the magic room, my living room.
Nice.
My wife has just let me take over half the living room with music stuff. She's really nice,
generous,
and very supportive.
That's awesome.
So I've got my little desk here set up, which you can't see, but then this microphone I got picked up maybe 8 months ago or so. Aventone CV12, really happy with it. It's tube mic. But that song was really simple. I mean, it's just 3 tracks. It's 2 guitar tracks and a vocal track, and nothing else. And when I recorded kind of the simple version, I thought, you know what? I think in the second verse we're gonna bring in drums, and I'm a drummer, so I can play in drums. I've got a MIDI keyboard, or MIDI drum set, and I can play stuff in. I was like, I'll add drums and bass, like little brushes on snare, kind of subtle stuff. And then after I recorded it and listened to it, I was like, it doesn't need it. I think it just stands with the simple things. So basically acoustic guitar, just used like my Taylor, and mic'd it with this mic. I use this mic for all the things, which maybe it wasn't the best choice actually, but I wasn't that careful about the sound. I would have liked to re-record the guitars, I think, with a cleaner mic, but it is what it is. Yeah,
and I think those are details that you as a songwriter or as your own producer notice 10 times more than the listener, because even me, like I do studio work and I listen, I was like, I think the guitar sounds great, and I think it really fits with the song. And part of it, it's like music right now, people want something that's really, genuine, that's authentic, and sometimes that's not perfectly polished stuff that just sounds, overproduced. they want something that's a little bit raw and a little bit like, I kind of feel like I'm sitting in the room with them while they play and
Yeah.
sing this. And so that's how I felt. But it was like a fantastic performance at the same time. So I felt like it
Oh,
was
thanks.
a good performance and well produced, but not like overly produced. So I thought it worked. But I
Nice.
love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like a lot of my favorite recordings are the ones where it feels like I'm in the room with a band or with a group or with a person because it feels so intimate and like
Sure.
really produced music is cool. It's kind of like CGI to me. It's like it looks great and I get that like a lot of magic made that happen, but at the same time it distances me because it doesn't quite look real. It doesn't
Sure.
quite
Sure.
feel real.
Right.
Yeah, and so those acoustic guitar. So originally, when I wrote the song, it was way more complicated. I had a lot of jazzy chord extensions throughout the song. I
Yeah.
did a lot of like kind of strums or stops or something for effect, and I played it for a few friends, and they were like, "Just stop, no,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
simplify."
It's
The
awesome.
chords do not have to be. There's a couple jazz chords towards
Yeah.
the end of the song,
Yes, which I really
but
liked.
but those were throughout the song and they were like, no,
Yes.
just keep it simple, don't stop the strum, like it's got a nice drive that shouldn't change much so that the vocals can kind of be present and be
Yeah.
the focus.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, cool. It took me so long to record the guitar parts because there's nothing happening, there's nothing to hide behind, right? There's
Right.
no drums,
Yeah.
there's no bass.
Dude.
It's like it just has to be super clean.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's two identical performances. Recorded one till it was great, and then recorded the other till it was great. That probably took like 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
record. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm not that great a guitar
Sure,
player,
sure.
and so oh god, it was
Yeah,
stuff.
and I think that's a great kind of behind the scenes look because sometimes we feel like, oh, they just stepped up to the mic and rocked it. One take, two
Yeah.
takes, maybe 5 takes. But when you're going for, at least for me, a vocal performance, I mean, I could be on take 25 because I know what I want to hear and I'll just go until I get it, especially if I'm recording myself and I'm not on the clock at some studio and I can, it's my time. Then I don't know. There could be a lot of takes in there. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same experience for you, but it sounds like it, at least with guitar. So
For sure, yeah. And guitar, I find like just little stupid things like, oh, my fingernail caught that
Yes,
string and it
yes.
just made a weird sound, like a weird buzz.
Yeah.
Like, man, yeah.
it's like
The-
where
the-
all your OCD tendencies come out. Like,
Exactly.
ah!
And like I recorded it and I tried to find a good spot on the guitar where the mic should sit, kind of around the 12th fret. And I listened back and I actually felt like the guitars were a little too close.
Okay.
And I wish I had added a little more space to the mic, moved it a little bit away. And I used this plugin called Proximity. It's a free plugin by Tokyo Dawn Labs, where you can actually adjust the distance, the sound of the distance
Interesting.
of where the mic was.
Yeah, that is
It's a really
interesting.
crazy plugin. It's really cool. So I just made it sound like the mic was just a little bit further away.
Nice.
And then kind of just the basics on processing the guitars: EQ, compression,
Sure.
pan one left, pan one
Yep,
right.
yep.
Yeah,
Love it.
pretty simple. And then the vocal take was a lot easier. Being a vocalist and having to, I've sang a lot live and in the studio and done a lot of session work and stuff. So I kind of know how to get a good vocal take
Sure.
pretty quickly. So that
That's awesome.
one didn't take too long. And just spending time with your song beforehand is really
Right,
key.
right.
Like if it's a brand new song and you're trying to record, you're still kind of making decisions in the studio,
Yeah.
which isn't great.
Right.
And so luckily I got to play that. I think I played that song live a few times and maybe an open mic or something like that to just get a sense of, what's the finished product of this song?
Yeah.
Perform it in front of people. And then you kind of want to pretend like you're performing it in front of people
Right,
when you're in the
right.
studio, right? Forget that there's a mic, sing through the mic,
Sure.
sing to that audience that you're picturing, 20 feet away, whatever. And that kind of helps.
It's awesome.
So,
So
yeah.
on the vocal processing end, is it pretty straightforward as well? Or you kind of EQ, compression, reverb, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, it depends on the take and what I hear. And I know my voice really well, and I've recorded a lot. So there are things that I hear in my voice that nobody else notices. I'll be like, man, there's just like this frequency poking out at 3,500 hertz
Yeah,
that
yeah.
just I got to turn down because it just and people are like, I have no idea what you're talking
Right,
about,
right,
and I don't hear that difference when you
right.
change it.
Yes.
So I really will go in and like fine tune EQ, and I have a lot of little dips in the frequencies
Okay.
that bother me in my voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, EQ first, and then yeah, basically nothing too crazy, just kind of bit of delay,
Yeah.
bit of reverb, a little more delay than reverb, I think, just to kind of keep it from being too muddy,
Yes. Yes.
and compression. I think I was pretty close up on the mic. I used a
Yeah.
pop screen, um, and the good thing about being up on the mic and kind of singing a little more quietly is you don't get the crazy like loud parts and quiet parts that happen a lot of times where you need to go in and really like clip gain, like, oh, this section's just quiet, I
Yeah.
need to just raise the gain of that. So I don't think I did anything. I think I just applied compression across
Nice. Nice.
the band. Yeah, I use mostly Waves plugins.
Okay.
They have great sales sometimes, so I
Yeah.
picked up
Yeah.
like 5 or 6 plugins, and there's a cool one called Vitamin that I used, which is kind of it does a lot of things, but it's sort of a EQ like multi-band compressor kind of saturator deal.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
And that's
that kind of helped.
I feel like I was hearing either some saturation. There was definitely
Yeah.
some warmth and character that was making me go, that sounds really nice, and it definitely kind of made me second guess and go, was this in a studio or is he using like a $5,000 mic or a nice preamp or
Right.
something? Because there's some real
Yeah.
warmth to the vocal take that I thought was awesome. So I guess it's just
I think
from
that
the
came.
plugins.
I think that came in 3 ways. Like so this mic, it's not too expensive. I like a lot, but it's a tube mic, so it's got
Yes.
some warmth and saturation, a little bit of nice distortion to it. So that's one effect.
Yeah.
I did add saturation to the mix bus using I don't remember what I used. One of the Waves plugins, just for a little bit of saturation again, to give it. I almost kind of wanted like a little bit of a vintagey vibe
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
song.
absolutely.
Feel like to make it feel like it could have been recorded, 30,
Sure.
40 years ago.
Sure.
And so it felt like saturation really helped that
Yeah.
a bit.
I like it.
Yeah, so you are hearing saturation that's definitely there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So it's a fantastic song, and I have already had people ask me, hey, like, where can I hear the full song, or where can I get that
Yeah.
song? So where could we get that song? Is it available currently? Because I saw that it was a demo version from what I listened to. So
Yeah.
where can we listen to that song?
Yeah. So I made a little like spot on the website to listen to it. My website, jeremyvoltzmusic.com/music.
Okay.
And you can hear that song, but it is a pre-release.
All right.
Yeah, that's being released as part of a 5-song album that I did with actually the music was for TV movie licensing production music.
Okay.
So that's going to be released at the end of the month.
Nice.
Which I'm really excited about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the songs kind of follow a similar theme for the most part of kind of like the struggle of life and working through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be coming out. Keep watch. JeremyVoltzmusic.com is the website, and you'll see it also on Facebook, Jeremy Voltz Music, and Instagram, Jeremy Voltz Music. I'll definitely announce that release.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is really cool. So obviously coming up for you is a new EP, and
Yeah.
is there any music videos? Is there anything else kind of this is coming down the pike for Jeremy Voltz Music?
I released a song on Spotify and iTunes a few months ago called First that I was really excited about. It was my first kind of professional release. Really is a really interesting kind of soul track, moves through a lot of spaces. I'm really proud of it. And we recorded a music video for it that I'm really excited about. And that we got a Factor grant, which is a Canadian government agency to help with the video shoot.
Nice.
Yeah, the video, man, so excited about it. Like, the song was a song to my dad. It was about, he was always kind of there for me as a kid.
Awesome.
Great dad.
Yeah.
And really like allowed, helped me through the stuff I was struggling with. And then kind of when he was having trouble, a tough time, and I had grown up, he pulled away a little bit from me, and it felt like he wasn't kind of letting me be there for him the way he had been. And that was
Yeah.
really hard on me. And so this song is kind of this called "Don't Let There Be a First Time You Pull Away,"
Nice.
is the kind of the chorus of the song. And so we made this video, and we got this mother and daughter actor pair who had just come back from India to say goodbye to somebody and spread ashes, and that was sort of the theme of the video as well. And they were so excited to do this video,
Yeah.
and their emotion really reads through. So it was great working with them. It was great to have them really excited about the project. And that video is released August 7th,
Wow.
which I'm very excited about.
So
Yeah.
that's
So
coming up in a few
yeah,
days.
it's like 5 days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Awesome. So let's just go through one more time where people can connect with you. So they're in the States or they're in the UK, they're wherever. Where can they find you online?
Yeah. You can find me on Spotify, Jeremy Voltz, Voltz, or Z, as depending on where you are and how you say it. You can find me there. You can find me on Facebook, Jeremy Voltz Music, Instagram, Jeremy Voltz Music, and that's also my website. So please check me out, listen, follow, all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, thank you for your time and kind of letting us inside of a bit of your process. And thank you again for the song that you submitted. And
Yep.
hey, man, keep making the music that you're making and keep us posted. So,
Thanks so much, team. Yeah, great meeting you.
all right. Good meeting you too, Jeremy. Be sure to follow Jeremy at jeremyvoltzmusic.com as well as Jeremy Voltz Music on social media.
Cast you down.
This interview was brought to you by the Songwriting Studio, where we're equipping you to write and produce high-quality, meaningful music from home.
Live this life. Just take it one day at a time.